Yes, 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 yes. Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning, 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 good morning. Good morning to all of you. What a great joy again to be with you. This is Malhut and I am Moshe. I am Moshe. Some of you saying, "Oh, I haven't seen you such a long time," but this is a good time to see me. This this is so amazing. All night last night, I'm studying. I'm to teach today, and I'm all woke up more confused than I went to bed. So I'm so elated to just come before you to try to help you with my own confusion. But it's a blessing to have all of you as you partake of this good dish. I want to define a word that perhaps is quite funny. Not perhaps, I know it's funny because we're Jamaican, and because I studied all night to actually teach something in particular, and I didn't get a release to teach it. I didn't get that release to teach it. So I have something else here out of the book of Haggai, Ahio, chapter number 1, verse number 12 and 2 through 15. Maybe we don't go through all of it, but just one name for now. I'm looking at the time, so I'm trying to manage that time. Now, it's very, very important that we grasp this, and it's funny at the same time. I said it's funny because this is Jamaica where I'm in, and oh, I'm laughing before all of you get the joke. But I want to speak about this man in the book of Haggai. So listen what it says from verse number 12. Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people obeyed the voice of the Lord their God and the words of Haggai the prophet, and the Lord, as the Lord their God had sent him. And the people did fear before the Lord. Then spake Haggai, the Lord's messenger, in the Lord's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith the Lord. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people, and they came and did work in the house of the Lord, in the house of the Lord of hosts, their God, in the 4th and 20th day of the 6th month, in the year of Darius the king. Now, this is too beautiful. As a matter of fact, I think I will keep it for myself. I'm going, hello, Pauline. Hello. Hola, buenos días, Oscar, de Venezuela. Como dice allí, Malhut, Venezuela. Blessings. Blessings to all of you, all of you. Wow, and yesterday we had a very powerful time online too. God is so good, my God. Like the stuff is getting better and gooder and better and gooder and gooder and better. Okay, forget that piece of English there. Better and gooder and gooder and better. So let me take off. Now, I want to define something. Here I put Zerubbabel, the name of the message, and you're wondering why Zerubbabel? Because I'm in this beautiful nation of Jamaica, transmitting from here. Some people, they're already saying that I'm Jamaican. Some Jamaicans say that I have left. I am right here. My ear. Okay, so listen up. Zerubbabel. This is the man we are speaking about, and this is the foundation of the message. The name of this man, Zerubbabel. Now, sometimes you can say Zara can be something else, but listen what it is. Zerubbabel being Zerubbabel. Zerub is to burn, and Babel is confusion. Okay, so Zerubbabel, Babel is confusion or Babylon. So hear the name of this man. Zerubbabel means to burn down Babylon. So this is the message today. It's time to burn down Babylon, and we are not speaking about the police. We're not speaking about the police. We're speaking about a system. Here's this man by the name of Zerubbabel to burn down Babylon. He's born in this place, and he's born with a specific mission to burn down Babylon. What do you mean by that? To set Babylon on fire. Set confusion on fire. Burn away every level of confusion, anything that will bring confusion to you, to break it. Now, it's interesting because the name can also imply, Zara, which is also seed. It can also mean a seed of Babylon, a seed. But this is interesting because it is in Babylon the very language, the very Hebrew language is developed. It's developed in this place, and it is so interesting that Babylon is the place of confusion. Confusion. That's the place where God confounded the language. Babel is confusion. So here it is. This man by the name of burn down Babylon. He's born to burn away confusion. Let me say it again. Burn away confusion. And some of you friends, they're online, you're laughing because that's what it is. It is to burn down Babylon. And this man burned down Babylon. His name, or his father's name, he came from a father shelter, and his father name he is to ask of God. I have asked God. So the father's name, I have asked God. He asked God while he was in Babylon for a son that will set this thing on fire, that will burn away the dross, burn away the waste, that which makes no sense, confusion. We're in a season of so much confusion because so many voices. If we don't know the very voice of God, what will happen? We become clogged. And once you're clogged, you're trapped in the Babylonic system. And here we have persons born, we have persons in Babylon like Daniel and the 3 Hebrew boys that went against the system. Listen what happened. Babylon seeks to rename you. Babylon seeks to rename you. They took away the names, the original name of Daniel and the other Hebrew boys, and they gave them names of their idols. So one of the first things that Babylon looks to do is to shift. It's to shift the call of God in your life. What do you mean by that? To shift the call of God in your life? Because what people call you is what you become. And so they decide to change who you are by changing your identity. It is the plan of Babylon to change your identity so that you would live confused and you would look like an NPD. What do you mean? Like you have multiple personality disorder. You don't know who you are. And so the idea to the power of God to break confusion is that God, I love it, that this man asked God for a son that will burn Babylon's system. And here comes, I love it. I love it because the father's name asked God. I asked God for this man. That's what he's saying. I asked God for this son. I asked God. Zerubbabel. Hello? To return. To return. To return. Zerubbabel. Zara can also mean seed. That's what it is. Zerubbabel. So it can also be mean begotten or born in Babylon. So it's not let Babylon burn only, but also to be born in Babylon. To be born in confusion. To be born in confusion. This man born in the midst of confusion, and confusion can also mean gossip. He's born in a place where, wow, there's no hope, only talk. He's born in a place, and I love it. He's begotten. He's born. He's seeded in Babylon. A seed in Babylon. A seed of confusion. So in the midst of confusion, look what God says. God said he moves a man that will ask him for someone that will change the system, that will break the system. We do not have to live by a system that confuses us, that stops us from fulfilling that which God designed for us. The fire of the Holy Spirit that is residing in you has the power to burn up every form of confusion and also plant the right seed in the midst of confusion. So look what happened. On the Tower of Babel, we had confusion. In Jerusalem, the confusion on the day of Pentecost turned to harmony. On the day of Pentecost, God unites the language again. He fuses and he clarifies. So there's no more confusion. In Babel, the tongues that were spoken confused the people. On the day of Pentecost, it clarified. In other words, if we have the Spirit, we are now able to speak God's language in the midst of confusion and bring a clear vision, a clear picture of what God is saying and what God is doing. Why? Because if you were born in this time, you were born in this time to burn down Babylon, because you are the seed of what God is doing. You say, burn down Babylon. Again, as I said, this is not against police in Jamaica. This Babylon is a system. It's a system designed to confuse you and to keep you in a place where should I put it that way? No. The original intent or the original move in Babylon was to build a city and build a tower to go up to God, to challenge God. That was the intention. And then God, because of that, and the people, because they united behind this particular thing, the world will unite against God. And because they united with Nimrod against God, God sent the confusion. So Babel is really God's doing. The shifting of your tongue is God's doing. What do you mean by that, Dr. Moshe? You're saying this stuff? As I said to the team on the Zoom, I said, you know what? God confounded the language like that. God changed the language. God placed languages in people in an instant like that. He just changed all of their language. From one language, he gave all of them a complete language in milliseconds. It tells me what God is about to do in this end time. It tells me that God, He's about to put languages in the mouths of people and the purpose why He's going to put the languages in the mouth of people, because this is what happened. In Babel, it was confusion. But on Pentecost, again, he puts the language in the mouth of disciples, and they spoke the languages of people. Others, they spoke the languages of others. We have to get ready in this end time for God to literally download a complete language into us, and we're able to speak clearly that language without even going to school. That is what we're going to see. These are the kind of miracles that will happen. Anyhow, let me try to run. So this is the son of Shealtiel, and then he spoke to Joshua, to the priest, and all the people, and he's saying, you know what, you need to obey. He's saying, obey the voice of God. If we are going to burn down Babylon, if we're going to plant the right seeds to transform that confusing situation, if we're going to do that, we need to hear the voice of our God. In order to come out of that confusion, out of that situation that you have lived in, and you're bound, you feel like you're in chains. As a matter of fact, Yeshua came to set the captives free, to unchain, to unshackle you. And so here, in the midst of Babylon, the shackles of confusion can be broken. You say, but it also means to be sown in Babylon. What do you mean? You have sown in this place of confusion, and you're looking for a harvest. You have sown in the place of confusion, and yet you're looking for a harvest. I wonder what type of harvest you're going to get. We need to sow the right thing. And what God did, God in the midst of that place, in order to remember the purpose of the confusion was to stop a people from advancing and building something against God. Oh. Whatever Babylon is building against God and against his people, that's where God is going to release confusion. And he's going to release confusion by causing somebody to be born. Oh. And whose name is the one that will burn the whole Babylon thing. I'm loving this word, to burn up Babylon. I always hear some of those singers saying, you know, burn down Babylon. Okay. Here it is, a man with his name, to the ability to burn up confusion. So many things that's being released against our mind, being released against our children, being released on the job, being released even in the church. And we have become confused because of so many voices. There's only one voice we're going to hear. My sheep heareth my voice. And the voice of another they would not hear, nor would they follow. So he's saying here, oh, listen up, Zerubbabel, you need to hear the word, hear the voice of God. Listen to the voice of God. Listen, obey, listen. This is the word. He's the priest, and now God saying, listen to the word that came through the prophet. As the Lord have sent him, the Lord sends him before. And look at verse number 13. Then speak Haggai, what? The Lord's messenger in the Lord's message unto the people. There's a word for all of you people there that feel that you're in confusion. You have been sowing and you have not been seeing anything. You have been sowing in Babylon and you're not seeing anything. This is the moment to get ready, because Babylon is not your final stop. It is not your destination. The place of confusion is not your destination. God allowed you to go into captivity, and that captivity of Babylon should only last 70 years. 70 years is also the number of the nations. It's 70 is also the number of wine, the value of wine, the very control of God. In other words, God is about to take control of your life, of your situation, because he's pulling you out of that bondage, pulling you out of that confusion, pulling you out of I don't know. You feel you feel what's that word? You feel incapacitated. You feel powerless to move on, to do what you think God has been saying. But this is something that's very interesting, that this man, he spoke higher, he spoke the word of God, the word of the Lord, in the message of the Lord. I love this. I love this. I love the very fact that here is the man that he sends the name of the prophet, and he pulls up a prophet. This is we have Zerubbabel. He's speaking to Zerubbabel, and now this is the prophet. What's his name? His name is Haggai, and this is the Hag. Here's the man's name. The man's name is the Hag. Where's the Hag? A Hag is a celebration. It's a celebration. So here comes in the midst of your confusion, he sends someone that is happy. You are confused, and he sends somebody that's happy. And you're like, oh, why is this one laughing? Why is this one? Why he doesn't see where we are? God has to send joy in the midst of your confusion. Why send joy in that? He sends someone that is happy in the midst of your confusion. Why? Because he comes with a word. Believe his prophets, and you would what? And you would prosper. Believe his prophets, and you will be saved. So there's a place there's a place where you understand that you could not have done anything, but you could not have done it, but God can do it, and God has done it. He has done it. He can break the power of confusion and limitation in your life. And the word came unto Haggai. Not my message, but his message. And something ashamed him. When this word came, because that's what you need. You need a word in the midst of your confusion in order to burn out that Babylon thing. What do you mean by that? Burn out the corruption. Burn out the confusion. There's a confusion. God said one thing, but you are hearing something different. You are a Babylon burner. And as I said, it is not the police, but it's confusion. It's that which have you in that place where you can't advance. Let me go very quickly. And it's so interesting. So listen what God did. So by the word of the prophet, by the word of this prophet Haggai, as he began to speak the word of the Lord, because that's what you need. You do not need a word of man to come out of that situation. It is man that caused you to get into that situation. And if you continue to listen to what man's opinion, that's what man would have. He would have an opinion. God is not moved by your opinion. There's a word that will bring you out of Babylon. Daniel captured that word. What do you mean Daniel captured the word? Yes, he remembered that the captivity of Babylon should be only 70 years. He remembered. And so they went on that 21-day fast came in order to break the control and the dominion of the enemy, because the time came to come out of bondage. The time came to release, to come out of bondage. The time came, let me say it again, to come out of bondage. And so the bondage of confusion is terrible because it has no walls around you, but you create those walls in your mind. And you say, here it is, I'm in this place of confusion, but here, God, there's a man by the name of burn up Babylon or sow in Babylon. In the place of your confusion may be the place that God wants to rectify your speech. So the prophet spoke, and it says, and the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel. This is what? May God raise up prophets, so that word that they speak will stir up our spirits. And Paul said to Timothy, he said what? What? Fan into flame the gifts that is in you, that you have received. But fan into flame. For God has not given you a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and love and a sound mind. You need to be stirred up. Stirred up by one word. Stirred up by the hand of God. And once you are stirred, because that's exactly here, and stirring is a fanning into flames. I love it. To awaken oneself. What is that? Fanning the flame? It is time that the governors wake up. That's what it is. That's what it says in verse 40. And the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, the governor of Judah. So it is time that we pray that God stir up the spirit. Stir up the spirit of our governor. Stir up the spirit of the president. Stir up the spirit of the prime minister. Stir up the fivefold ministry. Stir them up. Fan into flame. Come alive. Those persons that has more titles than anything. You have more titles than more letters behind your name than the alphabet, and nothing is happening. You yourself, you're confused. You think that God moves with titles. God doesn't move with titles. He moves with men that believe and women that believe and that decide, hey, I know we are in captivity. I know we are in the middle of this confusion, but God is saying something and my spirit is being stirred. I'm being stirred because if you're going to come out of confusion, you have to be stirred out of that thing that you're going through. You have been hearing the voice of others breaking us. But God is saying, it is time that you hear this specific word and be stirred. When last have you been stirred? So he said to Timothy, Paul says to Timothy, you need to stir up the gift of God that was given to you by the laying on of my hands. You need to stir it. You need to fan into flames. You need to fan that flame. What do you mean by fan that flame? It is time that you come back to believe God. It's not just pray. It is not just praying, but it's time that you believe the God that you're praying to. He that cometh to God must believe that he is, and he's a rewarder of them that's diligently seek him. You're in a place of confusion and you don't know how to come out. Listen up. It is time. It is time. It's time that you just say, God, I take that word. I take that word, and Babylon must burn. This confusion in my mind, this confusion in my marriage, this confusion in the business, this confusion even in the church, this confusion in my family, this confusion must go, it must break, it must disappear, it must dissipate. And he stirred up, he fanned into flame, he erred. What do you mean by that? Paul said to Timothy, he said, you know what? You need to fan in the flame because you receive a gift. Most of you think that you have nothing. That's why you're confused. But there's a gifting on your life that you need to stir up. How you stir it up? You need to stir it up by praise. You need to stir it up by worship. You need to stir it. Sometimes you just need to stop being you and walk out and make some shout. Nobody heard you shouting for a while. You need to break out and sometimes just get your hands up and just begin to shout, yeah, and do one of those Pentecostal dance. I don't know what that is. Maybe jump on one leg. I don't know. But you need to break out of yourself. Break out of that confusion, because there's a word from God that will stir you, that will set you on fire. To fan in the flame means there's a spark. God has placed a spark, and that spark is the light at the end of the tunnel. But if you stir it up, fire. Stir it up, fan into flame. Yeah, I love it because it's dealing with what do you call it, the smiths. You see that machine they put the fan, so that fan it, and they pump, and the fire, more fire. And this is what he's saying here, more fire. Zerubbabel. It's time to burn up Babylon. It's time to plant a seed in the midst of this thing that will cause a tree to break out and destroy everything that the enemy of confusion has placed upon you. We are coming out. We are burning up Babylon. And he stirred up the spirit. Look what happened. He stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel. He stirred up the spirit of that one. He stirred up the spirit of the one that will burn Babylon, that will plant a seed. Are you willing to be stirred so that that Babylon, that confusion that you have, you will change it. It will change. It will be transformed and turn around. Add some fire to that ice that you have. Not only is he looking to stir up the spirit of the governors, all persons in leadership. This is the time, this is the season, this is the year. As a matter of fact, I'm just seeing it. In the next 2 years, we're going to see such a stirring among the body of Christ. We're going to see such a stirring. We're going to see some people falling off, but the stirring will come where everyone, where you're going to see an army of people walking in the fire and the demonstration of the power of God. That is what it is. A bunch of people who have had giftings and have been waiting for somebody to tell them, can you use it? Use it. No. Now God himself is turning up fire and he's saying to all of you, listen up. It is time that you stir up the gift of God that is in you. It is time that you cause that gift to come alive. You must do it. You must do it. Why? Because it is by manifestation. You must get into the right place to see how this presence and to see how this power of God that is on your life, how it's going to manifest and bring about heaven on earth. Burn up Babylon. Anything that is holding you back, anything that have held you and held your family back is confusing. God said one thing, but you're seeing something different. And for years you're praying for what God said, and then you're not seeing it. Today, we burn down Babylon. What do you mean by that? We are burning away that confusion, because God is not the author of confusion. He's not the author of confusion. He is very clear in what he's seeing. And anything that brought a cloud to blind you is being burnt. Burn up Babylon, burn up Babylon, burn, 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 burn. Not only is he going after the governors, as I said, every person that has any position of governance around you, God is targeting them. We are targeting every leader. This is what this is targeting. It is saying it's time that the spirit of these men be turned up. Why? What do you mean by this? Because there's a spark. In the midst of your confusion, God has placed a spark so that you can fan it into flame. So that you can be, and what do you mean by fan into flame? It means to activate, let the fire, let the flame on your life be seen. Why would you take a candle and cover it, it says? No, don't cover your light, let it out. And this light, the spark that you have, is about to turn into a fire, into a flame. Oh, burn up Babylon, burn down Babylon, burn. Babylon burning, burning. Oh, yes, no. One more. And so this is interesting. So he's not only after the governors. We need to start praying, God, get our president, get our prime minister, get the governors, get the leaders, stir them up. We are tired of nothing. We are tired of not seeing your power. We are tired of not seeing the advance. We are tired of not seeing the healing from the cancer. We are tired of praying about blessings, and we are still broke and poor. We're tired of you. We are tired of just hearing what you can do without seeing it. It is time that we plant the seed in Babylon. It is time that we burn up Babylon. It is time that we activate the supernatural in the middle of the confusion. And what do you mean? The supernatural is in you. Babylon tries to tell you that it's not in you. It's inside of somebody else. It is inside of another man. But God is saying it is inside of you because you had his hands laid on you. It is time that you stir up those gifting that is in you. Why? Because those gifting is the answer for the people around you to be free. Liberated. Not only is he saying to the governor, but he's also saying to the high priest. So there's not just his own, it's the leadership to the governor and also to the high priest. Even to the high priest, God is saying, you know what happened? You did not stir up your fire. There's so much that you can do, but you have remained quiet. Governor, I give you the power to govern, but you remain silent. And he's the governor. I love it because he's the governor of Judah. And who is Judah? Judah is celebration. Celebration. Come on. Want to celebrate. Oh, come on. Hello. Oh, I don't remember the whole song, but celebrate. Everybody with you. That's it. And that's what it is. He wants you to celebrate. Hey, Judah. That's what Judah is. Judah is celebration. Judah is celebration. What do you mean? Judah doesn't just mean praise. It is celebration. So it is praise, it's thanksgiving, it's dancing, it's shouting, it's worship, it's everything together all day. You ever had a celebration? Celebration. So just not. Oh yeah, I'm getting something. Oh yes, man, that is it. Celebration. You got anything is a celebration. Anything to celebrate. Anything to. That's what God is saying. I release you to celebrate. I release you so that you can release the giftings. I'm stirring you up to do something in your situation. I'm stirring you up. What do you mean by that? I'm able to give the governor a word that will transform the people. I am, and that's the natural order. I'm able to give the high priest, to stir up the high priest. What's the purpose of the high priest? To keep your souls. I stir up the high priest so that he would see differently. So that not only am I stirring up the high priest, and Yeshua is our high priest. Yeshua is stirred to release his giftings on us today, so that Babylon will burn, that Babylon will stop its confusion, so that you will rise up and fulfill that thing which God told you that you will fulfill. Right now, you are confused. If God pulled through for me, would he do it? I don't know if he's going to do it. I am here today to tell you, let Babylon burn. Yeshua is about to fulfill his will and his word on your life, and he makes you unstoppable. It does not matter what confusion, what giant you're facing, what you think you don't have. You have what God has deposited in you, and it's time that you use it. You say, well, I'm a governor, but I have nothing. You have it. The high priest, you have it. You are the one that God have set apart, have set aside, so that you can intercede for the people. It is a season that God is saying, I'm stirring up a different level of intercession. A different level of intercession. Why a different level of intercession? Because Babylon confusion is coming against you constantly, and I am sowing a seed of truth. I'm sowing a seed of equilibrium in Babylon, and you are the one that will stir the fire. You will burn that confusion. Burn confusion in the society. Burn confusion in the spirit, because this is the high priest. The high priest. The high priest. And then he said, not only that, but also the people. And once that stirring takes place, people will come to the house of the Lord to work. They would come. We wouldn't have to beg anyone. It will come natural to just do what God said. It would come natural to just walk in what God is saying. Today, I'm declaring that you are going to burn Babylon, because there's a fire that God has placed in you, and it's about to be stirred up. And that stirring of the giftings of God, you're awakening the giftings of God in you, so that you become the solution. You are the solution. And Babylon is trembling because you're about to manifest. Babylon, as a matter of fact, is burning, 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 because you're here. It is your time. It is your season. Right where you are, it is time to be stirred. It is time to stir up the fire. Let Babylon burn. You say, what do you mean by that? Try to imagine Samson taking the fox, lighting their tails on fire, and burning down the field of the Philistine. You don't have to get your tail set on fire. You are the fire. And listen what it says. A fire goes before him, and burns up all their enemies. The hills melt like wax at the presence of the Lord. At the presence of the Lord. The Lord reigns. What do you mean? There's a fire that is going before those people. There's a fire that's going before you. There's a fire of the giftings of God. There's a fire on the day of Pentecost. Remember what came down? A cloven tongues like as a fire. On the day, the first Pentecost, fire came again. And there's a fire, there's a baptism of fire that's coming that will cause you to burn the dross and burn the hay and burn the wood and burn everything that the enemy have placed as confusion in your life. Just like Elijah. Bring up the fire. Bring the water. It doesn't matter what you throw on this fire. This sacrifice God will receive. The sacrifice of the Babylonians will not be accepted. So if they think that this is natural, go ahead. They cut themselves. Nothing happened. The man of God started saying, where's he? Where you go? He went somewhere. He's snowing somewhere. He took a vacation where? Hey, where you took a vacation? This is not vacation anymore. This is your time. This is your time. It doesn't matter. They took vacation, but it's my time. Put some water, because this is not natural. And he put some more water. And while the man of God is speaking, the fire just came down. Boom! And it lick up. It says it lick it. It lick them. The fire licked it up. God is more desperate to use you and to confirm his word on your life than you are willing to open your mouth and be stirred by him. Get ready. This weekend is your weekend. This weekend is your weekend of breakthrough. This weekend is your weekend to be stirred. This weekend is your weekend that your leader will be touched. This weekend is the weekend that the prime minister, the president, and all the leaders, these fivefold ministry will be touched by the power of God, because this is kingdom. This is a kingdom against another, and we are greater than the Babylonian kingdom, that kingdom of confusion. As a matter of fact, God has planted you as a seed in Babylon to break that thing. Let Babylon burn! Let Babylon burn!